Welcome back to the Ride Laugh Podcast. If you love mountain bikes, you are in the right place. Picture your last really fun group ride. You're back at the parking lot. The vibe is high. Everyone's stoked. You're talking about bikes, tech, nutrition, jumps, berms, drops. That's what we do here every week on the Ride Laugh Podcast. You love bikes. We love bikes. Let's drop in. Sage, how are you today?
Danny, it's just like a part two to our last episode. I can't wait, man. So much to talk about.
The Pennsylvania Visit Chronicles. It is a 13-part series. 13 part. Settle in, everybody. We have 14 hours of podcasting coming at you.
How you been, buddy?
I've been awesome. Yeah, man. The weather in Arizona is starting to round into form. I know you guys are approaching winter.
Yeah.
Well, we're approaching winter also, but the Arizona winter is just like magnificent. So
yeah.
I'm pretty stoked to start getting some good riding in, which means you're gonna have to come out here and visit pretty soon. We had our Pennsylvania visit.
Yes.
We might need a Sage Arizona visit soon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you were saying that during a feature or on a jump, one of the things that you found yourself saying to yourself was, yep. You were right. Do you remember saying that?
Yeah,
You were saying,
I do. Yeah.
And I made note of that because that was my original mantra. I remember telling you that when I first started clearing jumps at Skyline.
Yeah.
I was saying, yep. And that was like part of my thing. I had that little hitch going and I would go, yep.
Yes.
And you didn't know what I was talking about. You were like, I don't understand any of this, and eventually, years go by and you eventually start jumping. I thought it was interesting that you were like, one of the things I like to say is, yep. And that was like my original mantra. So you're welcome.
You were ahead of your time, Danny. I was like, this guy's crazy. Now that's all I say.
Yeah, it works. Everybody, what do you like to say in the air? Does that let us know your self-talk in the air? I remember Steve at Ben Spokes
keep it clean.
Said one time that pre-ride he'll tell himself that he's comfortable in the air. He's a good jumper.
Yeah.
He's got good instincts in the air. That's what it was, because I use that sometimes.
I do.
I'm at the top of a jump line. I'll say I got good instincts in the air. So to kind of like hijack that OS reaction with, no, wait, if something goes wrong, I got good instincts in the air. I know what to do. I really like that. So listeners, let us know, what do you say when you're in the air or as you're approaching a technical feature? What kind of mantras are you saying to yourself? Everyone knows I've been saying keep them rolling on the tech, and that really does help when I use that one. But I'm curious what other people are saying. Any other ones that you are using, Sage? Any other mantras that are working for you?
Well, obviously, if I'm recording for the channel, it's a completely different beast. And I find myself having to talk through features even when I'm not recording, because now it's force of habit. But one thing that I do channel, Trail Sage channel, yes. One thing that I do on the jumps is I actually tell myself what I want to do. And so, like when we're at the triple jumps on Lower Dominion. And I was really frustrated because I wasn't getting my bar turn deep. I was just like kind of doing like a twitch, and I know I can get a deep turn. So as soon as I finished, I was like, okay, we're going to do a deep turn. And as I'm coming up to the jump, I'm like, deep turn. And then I get up in the air and I'm just like, it really just reinforces what I want to do. Because instead of being scared, it's like, you just did it. You were fine. Let's get a deep turn. You have time. You proved that you had time. And so let's take that time and really emphasize that move. And it's worked. It's been really nice.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I think the only way that works is that you are trusting your instincts at that point, your muscle memory to hit the jump and do everything else correctly. You're not worried about arcing correctly. You're not worrying about standing into the jump or all that stuff's happening.
Yep.
Yeah. So you're going in kind of like on autopilot. Your body knows what to do, which is a great feeling, by the way, when you start hitting that level of mountain bike confidence when you're on autopilot.
Yeah.
And so you're able to focus on doing a move instead of, okay, let me just make sure I'm not going to dead sailor here. Let me make sure that I'm clearing this. I'm not worried about casing it. I'm not worried about the arc.
Yeah.
That's a really awesome place to be, dude. I'm super stoked for you that's what you're thinking about when you're in the air.
I mean, shout out to bike parks, right? That's exactly the point of and not just like a Phoenixville, but like a lift assist bike park. Like that's the point of getting repetition and just doing, you just did the jumps. You just did them. You know exactly what's going to happen. So the next time you do it, try something different, you know? And as you know, I've been trying to work on opposite bar turns and opposite tables, and it's really come around, man. It started with a tiny little like flinch. By the way, going the opposite bar turn might have been the most like, I talk about having to talk yourself through it. Like I would actually have to tell myself which way to turn because I was so used to turning to the right. So like forcing myself to turn the other way, I would actually have to say it out loud, like, Sage, we're going to turn left, you know? And it's like, ooh, same with the table. And yeah, it starts with that little tiny twitch. And then slowly you're like, okay. And next thing you know, you're getting it pretty deep. So yeah, I'm proud of myself. And it's part of that is talking yourself through it.
You're a switch hitter now. You can hit from, you can hit lefties or righties.
Yeah, there we go. Dangerous man. I love it.
That's right.
Yes.
So I noticed on the Sears jumps, and we'll get into more of this later, but I was listening to the audio, and I think when you're hitting jump 4, you actually say to yourself, deep turn. Like you really want, like,
yes,
as you're hitting this huge gap jump, you're like, deep turn. And yeah, I was just like, that's an interesting thing to say, you know, like that's very, very intentional on what you want it to do, but it looks cool, man. It looks really cool.
Yeah. You know, the gaps are another animal, right? Like on the tables, like I feel so much more, I can't believe I'm saying these. I can't believe these things are coming out of my mouth, but like, I feel so much more comfortable on the table now when I want to initiate the move because the table pops. Right. So it sends you up in the air. The gap jump at Sears are all ramp. And so
right.
It's more of like a line drive. Like you could pop, right? I mean, that's kind of what we were talking about last week a little bit about putting a pop in, but it's harder for me to initiate a move, a deep move when it's a ramp jump. And I'd love to know if listeners have that same experience. Like I have to tell myself to do it.
What are your thoughts? We went through the whole Red Bull Rampage. And there were some awesome things to watch, and there were some like really, really serious injuries this year. Any thoughts that you wanted to talk about? We haven't really discussed it. We watched a bunch of it. We watched the women ride together. It was awesome.
Yeah.
They were fantastic.
Yeah.
And I super enjoyed that. I did enjoy a bunch of the men's runs, but you know, like some of like the really bad injuries, just like a serious damper on the whole thing, in my opinion.
It's not the crashes that turn me off. It's become too slope style for me. And like Red Bull already has a slope style event. You know, you have Crankworks and you know all this other stuff. So, you know, when I go to Rampage, I want to see interesting lines. Not that the folks that are hitting the slope style lines aren't doing interesting lines, but they're all pretty much man-made and they're all pretty much hitting the same line. And so then it becomes like, well, who can do, you know, 2 backflips and who can do, you know, a tail whip into a giant canyon. And it's like, that's not why I started watching Rampage. And that's why I enjoy watching the women's Rampage because it feels more raw. First of all, they're hitting different lines than the men are. And to me, it seems like each one of them is picking a different line, which that to me is interesting. Like I want to see how people are picking apart this mountain. And yeah, I'm kind of turned off, bud. But it's not the crashing. Like I don't know, bud. How do you feel?
I thought it was really cool. I mean, the fact that they're doing tricks off of, you know, canyons and you know, it's just insanity. I did notice that like all the major injuries are off of tricks going wrong. And when you read the comments, a lot of the feedback is exactly what you're saying. Like there's already an event for tricks. Like let's see the raw riding. The level has just gotten so high that they can get down like any line. And now it's like, well, let me get down any of these crazy lines and throw tricks in. Yeah. And, you know, it's just like, you can't really argue with that level of progression. If they were to just say no tricks or we're not giving extra points for tricks, it's all the line. I do wonder what we would see.
I mean, I think I don't know what the answer here is, you know, but certainly how you weight the points would make a huge difference. And the fact of the matter is, I think you and I might be in the minority. I think what most people like to watch is the slope style stuff. And so, you know, we just might, yeah, you know what I mean? Like obviously Red Bull wants to make money and they're doing this to make money. And if they figured like, well, our audience continues to grow as we add more slope style and allow for slope style to be a thing in Rampage, they're going to do that, right? If they were losing viewers, they would change it up, right? They would reward, interesting lines more, So the thing that I thought was interesting was when I was watching on YouTube, I was going through the comments. Actually, I was Instagram too, and I was going through all the comments, and most of the comments were around the injuries. And there was a huge debate back and forth between mountain bikers and, let's say, casual viewers versus and non-mountain bikers, saying like this was too extreme.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, I actually don't have a problem with that. Like, I feel like if first of all, you know what you're signing up for, right? And this is your own will and power to do all these things. And it's almost like a drug that they need. This is what fulfills them. Look, I didn't have 38 Special is a far cry from the stuff they're doing on Rampage, but 38 Special is my Rampage. Like, that slab to me is very close to my limit. And do I need to do that? No. Could I get seriously hurt if I fell off of that slab? Absolutely. I don't even want to think about it. So why do I do it? Because I feel like I need to fulfill this. And I feel like these guys and gals that do the Rampage, like, that's where they're at because they can. They're not thinking about the injury. You and I, we don't think about that, right? I don't approach a feature and I'm like, well, I hope I don't fall. Like, yeah, that's not it.
It's a bummer to be watching these shows of these amazing athletes doing incredible feats of riding and see them get hurt. It's just a bummer. And so then it kind of, you're right though. Everyone's deciding what they want to do. Now, are you in a healthy headspace if you're saying, I'm going to try to do something I've never done before or has never been done before, a double backflip off of a really sketchy feature? We're everyday riders that are talking about this all the time. What level of risk do we want to take? What level of confidence do we need to be at? What do we need to feel like 100%? Like we want you were hitting 38 Special. You knew you had that. There wasn't a maybe not, right? The Silva who broke his back and was paralyzed, and I donated to his. I mean, it broke my heart. And if you go on his Instagram, like, he's in recovery and he seems like a high vibe dude. And I donated to his team, and it's just like, but he said he didn't do that in practice because he wasn't sure if he could do it. He was going to save it for the run. That to me, and I don't want to put any sort of words in his mouth, but like, to me, that's a red flag. Like, you want to be able to, like, I got this. That's the feeling that we want when we're going to do a feature. I'm not criticizing him whatsoever. I'm just saying, like, there's different levels. Like you said, you doing a slab in Pennsylvania that's scary to our level versus whatever they're doing. You and I would be terrified just to get down that mountain. Like, I would be beyond thrilled to be able to ride down that mountain and hit any of those jumps without doing any tricks, to just be able to get down that mountain. Like, that would be the absolute apex of my riding life.
I know, right?
But at the end of the day, like, we still have those decisions to make.
Well,
do I have this?
Well, when you get hurt, it's very easy to see the sign. You're like, oh shoot, I should have recognized this. Yeah. And so as you're reflecting on it, it's very easy to say, oh shoot, there were signs, right? The key is,
that's the truth. Yeah.
Right. The key is, like, trying to figure out what those signs are, and are these signs helpful, or are these signs of, like, maybe this isn't a good idea? And so Silva's last impression or lasting memory is like, oh shoot, I had this very negative thought. Maybe that was a sign. And it turns out it probably was. The second thing I'll say to all of this is, like, it's hard for us to comprehend. Again, we're mountain bikers. Like, you think it'd be easier for me to comprehend it, but it's not. But I'll give you this example. If you told me, 25-year-old me, I'm well into my 40s, almost 50 now. But if you took my 25-year-old self to Mountain Creek and told me that I was going to be sending the Covenant drop into the booter afterwards, I would have told you to go, yourself. Like, I would have looked up
rude.
At that, like,
rude. Yeah. Boy, 25-year-old you was a rude,
pompous. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have told you to, like, go, and I probably would have just laughed it off. Like, there's no way. Now I'm doing.
Well, your future self is awesome. 25-year-old your future self is pretty amazing.
Future self just wrote off of this.
Nice beard.
Yeah. Future self wrote off of this without even looking at it now. Like that's how like it's in my pocket now. Like I don't even think about covenant. It's like, yeah, we got it. I don't even have to look at it. Like
forget 25-year-old you, 45-year-old you.
I know.
I mean, you would have never believed it. Yeah.
I know, but that's my point. So like, yeah, me looking at Rampage now, you know, I look at the 40-foot canyon, I'd be like, no way. But that's because of where I'm at right now with my riding. Who's to say in another year, 2 years, 5, 10 years, what if that 40-foot canyon becomes not a big deal? And if it's not a big deal, then if you're already doing backflips, what I'm saying is all of these things, we're not at that
point. Does a backflip become not a big deal? You see the guys throwing backflips in, just like, oh, I'll just throw one in here. I'll just randomly throw it in. Yeah, you know, I guess I'll give him a front flip here. You know what I mean? Like a Oppo bar turn, whatever they call these. I don't know what they call these tricks. Oppenheimers. Was that a movie? I think it was a movie.
Oppenheimer. The atomic bomb.
He just created the atomic bomb on the bicycle. That's a trick right there. He's doing physics. Woo. Yeah. The Oppenheimer. That's right.
Yes.
You ride with chalk and a chalkboard.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I pulled an Oppenheimer once or twice. I ended up with a broken wrist and back.
Yeah. I think anytime that you overthink something in the air, that's an Oppenheimer.
That's the Oppenheimer.
You're thinking too much. Yeah.
Dude, bomb.
Put it in the Ride Laugh dictionary. Yeah. Oppenheimer. Excuse me while I overthink this.
Yes.
Well, this conversation actually segues perfectly into a comment I want to get to on our episode 22, which is no thought can be trusted, mountain bike flow, confidence, and the power of letting go.
Yeah.
And we have great listener and commenter, Dan at Juggernaut MTB.
Yes.
And we had talked on that podcast about Dan's comment and his self-talk. And Dan said, in the spirit of positivity, I'm officially rebranding the two of you as the Gentle Taintsmen instead of the Dainty Taint duo. What do you think about that? The Gentle Taintsmen?
Yes, a little play off of the Statesman. Yeah, right. From the, what is it? Yeah, that movie. Yes, you know what I'm talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I like the Gentle Taintsmen.
The Kingsmen.
It sounds very British.
And then,
the Kingsmen.
It wasn't that far off. It's Taintsmen, Kingsmen.
Oh, you mean the sequel when the Statesmen were like the vodka?
Yeah, don't act like
in America, like
with this. Yes, come on. Did I just Oppenheimer?
I don't know.
I just totally Oppenheimer.
Yeah, it's Oppenheimer the bit a little bit. I think that's a little bit too in the weeds. I don't know how many people remember the Kingsman sequel. There's like
viewers.
Ride Laugh on Gmail if you've seen all three of the Kingsmen and you know exactly what Stacia's talking about. All right. Otherwise, yeah, it'll be on the Ride and Laugh watch list. Yeah. Okay. And he wrote a lot of good food for thought regarding accepting grace, even if it's for or from yourself, because that's what we were talking about, giving ourselves grace. And Dan had sent us a separate email, unfortunately, explaining a rather nasty crash he had at Blue Mountain Bike Park. Yeah. Final ride of the day. He went off with his booter and he crashed, and he had video of it. And he wrote, I think Dan may have uncovered the reason why I went completely against my instincts, resulting in wrecking on that little booter and lawn darting myself into the landing at Blue Mountain over the weekend. You guys talked about getting upset about missing out on hitting jumps, doing the slower riders ahead of you. That was me doing that, mainly because I knew I wasn't going to get another chance to hit those jumps that trip. Yeah. And Dan writes, I was definitely on the fence about taking another run or calling it a day mid-trail, and I guess it may have been fear of missing out. So here he is. He's approaching this feature. He had decided he wasn't going to do it, but all of a sudden, in the moment, he decides to go for it. Wrong reasons, right? Yeah. And just like you were just saying, it's easy to look in retrospect. What did I do wrong?
Right.
Approaching that feature. If he had pulled it out, he would have felt great.
Yeah.
But we crash, and then we analyze, we Oppenheimer this, we overthink it. What did I do wrong? And what's here for me? Because we don't want to do it again.
Yeah. I mean, FOMO is absolutely real. And it's kind of like the whole premise behind the last run. Like as a mountain biker, if you're at the bike park, we don't say last run. Because when you say last run, it all of a sudden, for me, I thought it was just a jinx, but that's an actual really good reason to not say last run, that you might, and in your brain, you might go for something that you're not ready for because
this is my
That's
last
how I
chance.
look at it. Yeah, that's how I look at it. I look at it like, listen, don't do something that you haven't been doing just because, so yeah,
Right.
FOMO's absolutely real. We've all done that. We've all been there. And the fact that Dan recognizes that now, that means it's not going to happen again. I guarantee that's not going to happen again, where you're like, nope, I did that. We're going to stay safe. Make it down to the bottom.
Yeah. Because he's off the bike for a little bit, and it didn't. Dan heal up. It didn't sound like the injury was too bad, but it's not fun. It's not fun. And I've had so many of those injuries, and I've had so many of those great days where maybe you don't do something. Yeah. But you're driving home and you feel good, and you're in the parking lot and you're hanging out with your buddies afterwards, or you're getting something to eat afterwards and you feel good. Yeah. Who cares if you didn't hit that last little feature? You know what I mean? Like feeling good at the end of the day is where you want to be.
Yes, absolutely.
But yeah, when you see all your friends doing it, or if it's something that you've done before, or you look at it and you're like, I know I can. Yeah. Walking away when you're just not quite in that headspace, that's valuable. That's important.
You did that on 38 Special. I did it twice, and I was like, Danny, like, you absolutely have this. And I looking back on it, like, I almost feel bad, but I don't, because I know that you're at a strong enough spot, and you were strong enough to hold off my powers. I was like, Danny, and you were like, no.
Send it. Just send it.
I was doing my best.
You were giving my best. Serious just send it vibes. Yes. You were like, you totally got this.
I was flashing you. And I was like,
I've done it.
Yeah. Come and get it.
How is flashing me supposed to entice me to do a feature? I think it was the opposite. Chest?
I mean, come on, bud.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Adonis
power. I have seen it. Oh yeah.
Anyway, you stayed true to yourself. You gave it a couple of run-ups. It never felt completely, and you could have had that thought. When am I going to be at Mount Penn next? Right? You live in Arizona. You didn't. You walked away, and guess what? We went to Skyline and like had an awesome time after that. Like,
yep.
Yeah.
That's a feature I've done before. I've done it multiple times before. I'm a better rider than I was then when I did it in the past. And you've been talking about it on the podcast. You've been saying 38 Specials in my mind, but I haven't been getting there. I haven't been getting there because of the group rides that I've been on. They just haven't been going, past that feature.
New Stumpy.
And you wanted to try it on the new bike. And so you've been visualizing it. You've been thinking about it. And when I got there, I looked at it and I was just like, no, I'm not visualizing this. I'm not seeing this. That first day, like, I didn't even consider it. I was just like, no, I'm going to pass. I'm good.
Yeah.
And was that the day that was the day that I fell on stunt double, right? Which
because we were right there
next.
Yeah. Yep, that's right.
Yeah, I think I'd already fallen. Yeah, I had already fallen. So it was just like, no, it was just a hard pass for me.
Yeah.
Yes. The second time we went and you did it again, and you did it really smoothly, and you even did it opposite foot forward because you're a switch hitter now.
Yeah, unintentionally. Yes. Switch hitter, that's right, yeah.
You being a switch hitter and taking your shirt off, I think people might be starting to get the wrong idea.
Hey.
About the Gentle Taintsmen? Yeah. Like, ladies, don't get the wrong idea. He's still very much available. Just because he's a switch hitter and he's taking his shirt off and he might frequent the dainty taint. Don't get the wrong idea. This man is still very available.
Good call.
He's very masculine. So when I saw it the second time, and I was like, yeah, I think I can do this. And looking at we've always pointed out maybe the hardest part about getting to 38 Special is getting up to it. It's very technical to get to it, and it's very blind coming up to it. And then there's that commitment of going over the edge. We have that great video where I followed you over the edge, and you really just drop right over the edge.
Yes.
So I'm doing these run-ups, and I can't even get up to it. I can't even get up to it to like decide how it looks once I get up. Like, I'm just not making the turn. And I just realized after I did this like 3 or 4 times, I am just hesitating. And that's not the kind of feature that I want to be like, oh, wait, maybe not. Because if I hesitate at the top of that and I decide I don't want to go, how many times have we seen a fall where someone's at the top of a really, really difficult technical feature and then they hesitate and they're like, oh, wait. And that's when they fall. That's when you get that really horrible crash.
Yeah.
So I realized as we rode away from that, I'm too hesitant. I wasn't in go, go, go. I wasn't in attack mode. I wasn't in 100% confidence.
Yep.
And so to me, felt better walking away. And yeah, then we went and did some jumps and we had a great day. It was awesome. And I felt good afterwards.
Yeah.
No regrets. So,
yep.
But it is difficult. Know thyself.
Yeah. I was joking around, I was joking around about flashing you and all that stuff. But, as someone that had just done it, I wanted to let you know, what it was like, how it felt. I was there to answer any questions that you might have had, like, yo, what about this line? How about going this way and blah, blah, blah. But, as the buddy, you really don't want to push somebody, right? Encouragement is different from pressure. And I hope that I did a good job. That's a fine line, and I hope I did a good job. But yeah, that's a tricky one, right? Because as a friend, I want to see you do it too. Like, I want to be able to give you a fist bump at the end, because I've seen you do it. I know you could do it, but
yeah, right. Yeah. We want that stoke for each other. Absolutely. I was so excited for you. You did it so smoothly, so confidently. It's just like, okay, I'm locked, right. And I want that.
Right.
I want that. But you can't let the want override the capability, the present moment.
That's right. Yep. Yeah. Good stuff, man. Yep.
Now, if you had enticed, what could you have enticed me besides flashing me your chest? Because I'm a straight man. That obviously didn't work. Sorry, fellas. Anyone
meat sticks. Meat sticks. That sounds bad too.
That sounds gay also.
Wait, what are they called? They are beef sticks. I said beef sticks.
That also sounds gay. Also sounds gay.
Called?
And not that there's anything wrong with that.
You love those.
No,
the Slim Jims.
Called meat sticks.
They're not Slim Jims though.
Beef jerky? You mean like a beef jerky?
But actually, I've never seen you eat beef jerky. But you used to get those paleo. Come on,
I do get Paleo Valley. They're beef sticks. They're beef sticks. They're delicious.
Thank you. All right, so you're trying to make
I'll put a link in the show notes. They're delicious.
They're awesome.
I was thinking more like a cup of coffee and a muffin. If that was down there.
Oh, if I was swinging around the
slab, and we'll sit down and I'll lower my shirt. I'll put away my beef stick. I'm definitely going around this feature. Yeah, I don't like what's at the bottom of this feature.
Hard pass. Yeah. Oh boy.
Listeners, let us know what do you need at the bottom of a hard feature? What would entice mountain bikers at the bottom of a hard feature? I think most mountain bikers like a nice craft beer.
Yeah, IPA, right?
Burger, steak,
coffee, baby, coffee, ice cream.
Ice cream. Oh yeah.
You know what, dude? How about just a fist bump? Like, honestly, like if you were down there filming, just
no, absolutely.
Boom. Good hug and a good fist bump.
Yeah. The vibes are what it's all about.
Yep.
So we mentioned the previous ride at Mount Penn, and if you're looking at the Ride Laugh Instagram, check it out. If you haven't, we post at least once a week when the new episode coming out. But I did post a what did Dan do wrong clip, because we have two videos of at the same angle of me going down what we call stunt double. And we talked about it last week. It starts with this really big step down. Well, it's not a step down because it's not a jump. It's a really big
ledge.
Shoot, we never went into a ledge. Okay, it's a big ledge. And so I posted and said, what did Dan do wrong? And we got a ton of really good feedback. Thank you everyone for the feedback. I'm going to highlight Brian on a Bike, who's also a coach at the Trail Boss Academy.
Yeah.
Brian certainly knows what we're talking about. And paraphrasing, Brian wrote, hindsight is always 20/20. It really was that little rock at the bottom stuffed the front tire due to the slow speed. But as he came over the rock, you can see his arms were decently extended, not locked, so that's good. But with a little more bend in the arms and spotting where the wheel is going at slow speeds, you can push into bumps like that to create momentum and roll through the catch. 9 times out of 10 are those little things that will take you out. But being aggressively centered so you still have movement left in the limbs helps. You and I have talked about this a little bit off the pod as well. Your feedback.
I mean, what's to say? We covered it in last week's pod, which is, being intentional, but also like pushing through. Actually, it was Brian again who gave us advice on the G out of like pushing your front end through. you and I noticed that rock, and when we were at Penn that day doing stunt double, we looked at crash footage immediately, and we're like, we noticed that rock. I don't know how much of that certainly did not help. That rock certainly did not help, but I think you could have pushed.
And
through
on the
that.
second run, a few people noted that I did not hit the rock. I took a different line,
slightly different. Yeah.
It's a coin flip. Like there's not really a line over that ledge, right? It's a coin flip whether you're going to ride over that rock. And you said that you've looked at videos of yourself doing that before on 27.5 on smaller wheeled bikes.
Yeah, my Ibis
and you rode right over,
bike.
You rode right over the rock.
Yep,
so it is a little bit more speed, a little bit more aggression, a little bit more push. I don't know if someone said maybe you squeeze the brakes. I don't know. I don't know if I started to panic. I don't know if I panic braked. That would certainly not make any sense from a physics standpoint.
No, I mean, that would be ridiculous if you squeezed your brake anyway, especially your front. That would be, I know. Yeah, that would be an Oppenheimer for sure.
That would have definitely been an Oppenheimer. Well, what I was thinking about was that if we're prepared to push through a feature, whether it's a ledge, like a slow speed tech, or on the trail, if you are in a position that's prepared to push through it, then you can't be too far back because the physics of it don't work. In order to push, you need to be somewhat centered. You need to have your arms bent so that you can initiate the push.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I like that. I just keep coming back to the word dynamic. Like it's easy to think about like pushing because it's easy to just focus on that one thing. And there are definitely times when I'll get to features and that is something, or I'll get to a ride and I'm like, all right, I want to focus on pushing into the trails. I was at Penn and I was doing Lanchies. I did it 3 times in a row. And each time I was working on not pushing, but like actually compressing the bike into the terrain. And it was working. By the 3rd time, I was doing really well. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. But like, that's very specific. In general,
is a downhill run at Mount Penn. Yeah, it's fast. It's got some really loose, I would say, some really loose corners as well.
Flat corners, chunky, right? It does help. And it's something I noticed Logan and Ethan, they all like kind of bounce on the trail on purpose. And I was like, oh, that's really interesting. So I was working on that. My point is,
what is the bouncing? Oh, go ahead. Finish your point, and then I'll ask my question.
Oh, so the way that Logan was explaining it to me was he's buying traction, right? Like you're bouncing, you're unweighting and weighting, but then the idea is you want to kind of target where you want to get heavy and where you want to get light. And so by the 3rd time down, I was really getting heavy and light in the appropriate places. The first time I went down, right, I'm sure I looked like an idiot because I was just like boing, 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 boing down the trail. Like there was no rhyme or reason. I did it whenever I felt like doing it. It was. Yeah, I'm sure I look ridiculous.
But you know what? But it kept you active on the bike. I mean, if you're bouncing on the bike, you're being active, you're being dynamic, you're moving.
But
you have to be somewhat loose, right?
Yeah, you absolutely do. You absolutely do. My point is though, that was a very specific thing that I went into that ride or that trail doing. But most of the time, I don't think about pushing the bike. I think about being dynamic, and there's a difference for me because dynamic means like I'm really paying attention to what the trail is demanding. If it demands me pushing down, then I'm going to be active and dynamic and push down. If it requires me getting a huge pull up, then I'm going to do that. But what I want to do is I want to be loose on the bike and be able to move around. And that's primarily what goes on in my brain. And I'm getting to that point and it's that flow state, bro. Like I'm not thinking about it. I'm not thinking about any of it. I'm just letting my bike and body do what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, that's magic. That's where it happens. Yeah.
Yeah, it's feeling pretty good lately. I've been riding really good. I've been really enjoying life lately, man. I'm in a good headspace, I guess.
Hey, flow in the bike, flow in life. It's the same thing. When we're present, when we're not Oppenheiming, when we're present, and we're on the bike and we're trusting our skills and we're loose and everything's going, it feels good. And when we're in life and we're present, I mean, there's so much to talk about here. I rode Gold Canyon. That's recently. And I took some of the advice that I got from that Instagram posting on body position. But one of the main things I was thinking about when I was riding was to stay loose. And Gold Canyon is a place that's got some high level tech, but it's a place that I'm comfortable, and it's a good place for me to stack wins when my confidence is a little bit low.
Yeah.
And I was just really focused on staying loose and like letting the bike just move under me, because I'm really kind of just a stiff rider, and it really did. It felt good. I still have to think about it. It's another thing I put in my mind of like, okay, stay loose. But when I did, it felt good. I'm not at the point where it's just like naturally happening. I have been there in the past, but I think I tend to be a stiff rider. I think I tend to like tighten up.
I would agree. I think you do. I think your first reaction is to tighten up rather than loosen up. And that's a hard one, right? And Zan made a really neat comment about repetition. And it kind of goes back to what I was talking about with Lanchies. The first time you're doing it, it's so hard to like be intentional with all the things that you're working on. And Gold Canyon, this is a great, I'm glad you brought up Gold Canyon, because that is a really hard spot to actually get a repetitious. It's hard to get repetitive.
Repetitious.
It's hard to get repetitive on any of those trails because the penalty to climb back up is insane. Now, Lanchies was, what's that, 250, 300 feet to the top? You know, it takes
to get to do the Lanchies downhill run.
It's probably about 20 minutes, 25-minute climb, and you're back at the top. But like, if you could do, you know, one trail over and over and over and play with looseness, that sounded odd, but if you could play with how loose you're being, like, I think that's going to be more helpful, you know? And I guess Phoenix, it doesn't really, does Halls have a place, an easy climb to a relatively quick downhill that you could just session over and over? I mean, again, if we had e-bikes, holy crap. Yo.
Yeah. I mean, I've been thinking more and more about e-bikes. They're evolving. The e-bikes are evolving more and more. So know that the AM Flow, the DJI AM Flow, I think it's called. But that motor really changed the market. And now you're seeing the other companies kind of
catch up.
The other manufacturers, like trying to catch up. It's not just the power and the wattage, but it's the nuance of how these motors work, sensing what the rider's doing and the shifting of the bike and how the screens. So I feel like there's like another level that's coming, but it's definitely occurred to me like the e-bike would be really cool to be able to get more laps in, to be able to just get more laps, more confident to start working on that. Like it's starting to kind of nip at my brain a little bit that an e-bike would be really cool for learning some of this. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think about the bike park itself, Danny. Like we started on Dominion, you're clearing maybe a couple jumps here and there. By the end of the day, you're clearing every single one. Repetition. Everything's repetition.
Yeah, it is repetition. I think it's where e-bikes come in. Arizona's not known for little mountains. You drive around and you look at the valley and you look at the mountains all around. They're big. Yeah. And that's the Southwest. That's the West Coast. Pennsylvania is a little bit different, and you're still doing a lot of climbing for a 3-minute downhill. You're still climbing 20, 25 minutes. I mean, we know that e-bikes unlocks that ability to session downhills.
Yeah.
And among other things, opening up other trails that we can get to and bigger rides and longer rides and, different routes and climbing different trails. So that may not have been climbable, seem climbable on an analog bike. So there's a lot there.
Yeah.
I had a thought. I think about, you were talking about riding in your flow state and living in your flow state.
Yeah.
And I think about this all the time. I think about being present all the time, which is the anti. If you're thinking about it, then you're not actually being present. You're thinking about it. But to Oppenheimer aside, I'm contemplating presence and why it's difficult to be present all the time. And I've really been noticing just all these little kind of hidden fear thoughts that are in my mind. We talked about this a lot when I was in Pennsylvania, because you were surprised at how much I was fearful of things that weren't here yet. Yes. So I call it my vibrational basement, where I just have like all these little like kind of hidden fears, and I'm cleaning up down there. I'm reorganizing, but as of now, it's looking like a 1970s wood panels, flood, fire damage. Like it's a disaster in there. Oppenheimer could never get anything done in there. You know what I mean?
Yes,
no work is getting done in there. Yeah, but I'm cleaning it out. And it's just so interesting. It's just so interesting when I notice like that I'm nervous about something, whether it's on the trail or in life, it's not here yet. And so it's not real. And just like, okay, oh, that's not real. It's not real. And letting it go. And then that relaxed feeling when we let go of those fear thoughts. And then all of a sudden, sometimes you can even feel it in your body. You can feel your shoulders drop a little bit,
Yeah.
I can feel my brain unclench, just letting go of those fear thoughts and just, okay, my future self is going to take care of this. I don't need to worry about it. My future self shreds. And whether it be on the trail or in life, just relax and see what happens when you get to it. What's the best that can happen?
I think on the bike, like there are physical signs on the bike that make it a little bit easier to catch it. In life, it's a lot harder to catch those things until oftentimes it's too late or you're stuck in a wormhole and you're just like, how did I get here? But on the bike, like a great example, like when you're at a downhill park, and you have the tenseness and the fear, like oftentimes my hands will hurt or my forearms will hurt or my quads will start to hurt. It's like, wow, I am riding way too tense. Loosen up, dude. Think less. Don't be afraid. Loosen up. Get loose, right? That's a physical sign. Dude, wake up, right? In life, I struggle. I mean, as flow state as I am on the bike, like in my life, I'm not that person. I do have to work at those things, and you've coached me and helped me through a lot of those things. But part of that is like picking up those signs that aren't as obvious as like my forearms hurt. It's my brain that hurts, and I just don't know where that's coming from. And it's usually for me, it's usually a lack of self-worth. That's usually where it comes from. It's
suffering. Yeah. Right. On the bike, it might be tight. Our hands start to hurt. We get arm pump because we're squeezing. We're too tense. We're squeezing. Right. And or you could just feel the way the bike's handling. That you're just like, I'm not having fun, or it's just not handling well. And okay, I just got to relax. And then you start to trust yourself. You start to get in the flow, and you start to get present. And you start to trust yourself and trust the bike, and everything starts to improve and go really well. And the signs that we're not present in life is suffering.
Yeah.
As we said in that other episode, no thought can be trusted. It's some sort of thought is creating, or the situation is what it is. And then we either decide if we're okay with it or if we want to suffer. Do we want to create anxiety or fear? And so when we notice that we're suffering, this is a choice. What is actually happening right now? And then let go of the thought that might be, notice that thought and saying, I don't need to do that. And because I've had such high level of thinking and high level of suffering, this is something that I'm like constantly working on in my life. And that's why I'm able to share it with you and share it with listeners. It's something that I'm very aware of. And I love talking about it because it's improved my life so much. And I can get into these mantras in my life and realize, I'm thinking too much. And in life, there's no feature coming up. There's no ledge we're going off of. There's no lippy jump that we're approaching at super high speed. Like, you got time. Relax, everybody. We got time. We can figure this out. It's cool. Mountain biking takes all of that and like amplifies it times a million.
2 minutes,
you have to figure this out right now or you're going to crash. And I think that's what's so cool about it. But it's what's also so cool about mountain biking is because it's high consequence, you have to be present. And if you're not present and if you're not trusting it, then don't do it. But if you are, and just like life, then everything's going to work out. Everything's happening for us, not to us. We're not victims. Everything's happening for us. There's always something here for us to appreciate. Find whatever it is to appreciate. And what's the best that can happen? And just those little switches from absorbing the jump a little too much to pushing into the jump a little bit, just that 5%, that little 10% change makes a world of difference on how it feels on the jump. And the same thing in life, just that little 10% change of what's happening for me. What can I find here to appreciate?
Yeah. I'm a little over my head when it comes to this kind of talk, but I'll just say 2 things. And I'm the most successful on my bike when I follow my intuition and instincts. And I found that to be the same in my life as well. It's when I fight those instincts and fight the intuition that causes me suffering and second guessing and all this stupid thing. If you just go with your first gut, like, okay, what feels right? What is the right thing to do? What is the right thing to say? It's usually the right thing. You know, your body knows what you're supposed to do. And when you try and fight that, that's when I fall out of the flow state on the bike and in life. So that's all I'll say about that. The rest of the stuff is, I'll leave that to you. You are a much wiser man than I am.
I think that's fantastic. I think that's a very simple way of putting it is, you know, I think we all know that right versus wrong feeling. Yeah. Am I going with my highest good right now? You know, does this feel right? Does this feel like the right thing to do? And when we're not doing that, when we're overthinking, then life gets more complicated and you're causing suffering for yourself, maybe for others, and we're not riding as well. You're overthinking it. So anyone that can, you know, relate, let us know. Ride Laugh 1 at Gmail, YouTube comments. Love talking about this stuff. If you have any questions or any stories, and if you're really good at flowing on the bike, but not in life or the other way around, let us know. And, you know, love hearing about someone's journey, and, you know, we can get into it and talk more about it and, you know, help everyone flow a little bit more. So
I love it, man. I love it. Yeah. Really good stuff.
Perfect transition to our mountain bike gratitudes of the week.
Yes.
Would you like to get us started?
Yes. Before I get into gratitudes, I do have something. I thought I could actually make a really nice transition from what we were just talking about to what I'm about to say, but I couldn't think of one. So I'll just let it come out of my mouth.
So instead of making a good transition, I'm going to just like make it really awkward and yeah. Like, and then let me think of the worst transition I can make.
That's right. This is my flow state. It starts from a trail stand into a huge feature. Well, Steve at Ben Smokes had his Sears Enduro, which I really wanted to attend, but I missed it. Brian on a bike got third place, but here's what I wanted to say. And Terry went down. He took a huge crash, and so I just wanted to wish Terry.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. He got a really bad concussion. Terry. Yeah, bad concussion. I think he said he broke like 3 ribs. It was really bad.
Terry.
Yeah.
Oh, brother.
Yeah, stage 1.
Oh, man.
So, dude, he's got like a little one on the way. Terry, I'm sending healing vibes. Apparently, like he was just like, he pinned it, and that wooden bridge at you know, they have those wooden bridges every so often. He just like front tire hit that and just slipped out and just wham right into the ground. So poor Terry.
Oh, smack.
Yeah. So
what? Oh, I guess we shouldn't get into the specifics of the wood. I don't remember a lot of wood at Sears.
They have like little bridges that take you over like tiny ravines. And so
it wasn't even like a jump. He was just riding on the trail, and he hit one of those little really just a wooden bridge. Oh man, what a bummer.
Well, you listen, the trail was a little bit wet, and you know what happens when your wet tire hits a wood. That's it, dude.
Forget about
it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I've gone down very, very, this never sounds good. I said this before. I've gone down very hard on wet wood.
Wet wood, yes. Terry?
Yeah, and it hurts. Yes. Terry, I was walking funny for weeks, let me tell you. You're welcome to the Dainty Taint anytime.
He's like, damn you.
Say he's got his shirt off on the other side of that bridge for you so you can get over it. Yeah, we can.
That's right.
Yeah, entice you. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Awkward transition back into gratitudes. Here we go. Mountain bike gratitude actually goes to that ride that I did at the reason why I was at Mountain Pen doing reps on land cheese was because I was actually doing a coaching session with Mark. POV Trails. He's one of our listeners at Ride and Laugh.
Oh.
And dude, we had a blast. Yes. Oh, Mark was... Dude, what a talented rider Mark is. We just sessioned some of the best tech that Mount Penn has to offer. And he just needed a few tweaks here and there, and he was crushing it, dude. Shout out, Mark.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Good job, Mark. Yeah. I can't wait to hear more about this. So the coaching, he hired you for coaching. Did he have specific things that he wanted to work on?
Yeah, he really wanted to focus on, because I asked him if he wanted to do jumps, and he said, no, I really want to focus in on the tech, and specifically on the steeps, which is interesting because that's what we've been talking about lately with Yes. So it was a lot of like, Mark was already a really good rider. He just needed some small tweaks here and there. And what I thought was interesting was a lot of the advice that, our viewers and myself have been giving to you about getting more forward, getting your chin more farther forward,
Right.
That's kind of what Mark wanted too. Like, he was a little bit taller of a rider and he felt himself like kind of extending back in fear. And it was like, we would just do a feature over and over and over. I'd take some video and be like, look, you could actually be a little bit farther forward. And it's nice when someone can point that out to you. When you're riding solo, like, I often think like, oh, I'm plenty far back. And then you take a video of me and I'm like, oh, I could actually gone. Yeah. So we did a lot of that, like, hey, no, you can actually go a little bit farther forward here. Work on some technique moves. Yeah.
Really cool.
He was killing it.
Yeah. Really cool. Yeah. So anyone in the Pennsylvania area or the tri-state area that's interested in taking their riding to the next level, or getting a little bit more confidence, we're giving a plug for Trail Sage coaching. But Sage will help beginner level riders get up to the intermediate level, but you will also help people that are on an intermediate or an advanced level gain some confidence on steeps or jumps. You do understand that. You understand the mindset of it, but you also understand the technique of it. And I can tell you, as someone riding with Sage, I always level up. I always level up when I ride with you. You bring a lot of confidence and a lot of technique, and that's where this podcast comes from. A lot of that is just our banter on the trails and afterwards talking about bikes. But yeah, if you want to try out Trail Sage coaching, I personally guarantee that you will not be disappointed.
Hey,
and if you are, we have photos of Sage without a shirt on that we can send you as
hey. Wait a second now. Mark's like,
you're like, wait, we know? Oh man, I didn't get any topless shirts, topless photos.
Boy. Well, thank you, Danny. That was very kind of you. And yeah, great coaching is one of those things, like, that's my gratitude, because, it's one of the avenues that I would like to be successful at, be able to make some money, you got
a lot to offer there. Yeah. I mean, I think it's money well spent for anyone that wants to work with you. So I think that's a win-win situation. And with Phoenixville Bike Park and Mount Penn and some of the other spots that we have locally there, right? Or if you come out to Arizona, wherever you are, there's ample room for improvement. So
yes.
Yeah. My mountain bike gratitude of the week goes back to that Instagram post, and Brian on the Bike and Jeff Jackson and a whole bunch of our listeners and other people that I didn't even recognize names. We're all and other names I recognize, Sean, a lot of people giving great advice and great comments. And some of them were just silly, some of them were jokes. That's all good also. The post was really fun. If you haven't looked at it, you can go and read through them all. But one of the comments that we got was from Lauren Adams, and she gave like a lot of like really kind of detailed notes in her comment. And I was like, hey, this is really great stuff. Thank you so much. And then she went above and beyond. She took screenshots of both pictures and wrote in some extra notes, and she sent them to me through Instagram direct message.
Yeah.
And she wrote in, this video on the second shows how your elbows are down and you aren't centered. You're in a squatty position. And then she notes on the bottom, bring that chest forward over the stem, elbows out, taller in the legs will help with that. Heavy feet, light hands, let that bike dance underneath. Ooh. And of course, great job.
Yes.
Just like really awesome personalized feedback. I'm looking at the picture that she sent to me and I'm like, yeah, I could be more forward. I could have my chest more forward. I could have my elbows wider. I could have my legs taller. When I went to Gold Canyon after getting this feedback, I was riding with those techniques in mind. And she said, you look a little stiff. And so I was riding with all those techniques in mind and staying loose. And I felt really good. And it's just like, I've been mountain biking for, 20, 25 years, for a long time. I've done some really high level riding, and I've also had some crashes. And, to go back to basics a little bit, to have someone say, here's what you could do a little bit better. That's awesome. And for her to go out of her way and just, spend that extra time breaking that down, I was really, really impressed. I was really touched and really appreciative. And I went on to her, I was like, she's got to be a coach. That information is like way too good. And so sure enough, I went onto her Instagram page, and I'll put links in the show notes, and she's part of Adrenaline Coaching, which is founded by Steph McDaniel, which is Steph from
Yo.
South Mountain.
Yes.
Steph and Mike, who we've ridden with before. And Steph is, a Pivot Factory racer. She's not racing this year, but, super high level. And I've met Steph on the mountain several times. I only did that one ride with her, but she's amazing. So she's coaching, and Lauren's part of that, and Mike's part of that. So we'll put links there. If you're in the Arizona area, I'd imagine that would be fantastic coaching. What I've seen of Lauren's feedback to me was really, really valuable. So just really awesome stuff. So thank you, Lauren. And mountain bikers, awesome. Mountain bikers are awesome.
I can certainly relate to that feeling, because that's how I felt when I was getting my coaching certificate and I was having to go back to basics.
Yes.
And it was a very humbling experience, things that I would drop her heels, put your, get low, and side to side. And it's like, this is all beginner stuff. And it's like, I couldn't do it. And I just stop, dude, just stop thinking you're something else. Be in this moment and just do what they're saying. Just do it. Get your pride out of the way and just do it.
You were after that weekend, you were excited to take those moves that you learned.
It helped.
You were excited to take those to your riding. And I will say, my friend, and I know it's been a summer of riding. So of course, I think you're better because you've been riding, but you're a better rider since that coaching session. I think you've applied a lot of that.
Yeah.
You're riding at a very high level right now.
Thank you.
I think maybe it ticked up after that coaching session.
I think you're right too. It's certainly opened up a few doors, and that's something that I never would have guessed. If you told me I was going to take a beginner's class and actually become a better rider, I would have. Yeah, it's crazy. So yep. So thank you, Lauren.
Yes, thank you, Lauren. Mountain bike tip of the week. We could certainly get into another tip, but off the top of my brain right now,
do it.
That's not how the phrase goes.
Oh wait. Oh,
off the top. What's the tip of my tongue? No,
off the top of your brain. No, that's right. I think that's actually
off the top of my brain.
I think you got it. Yeah, don't Oppenheimer.
I Oppenheimered that.
You did. You overthought
don't
it.
Oppenheimer. I thought I did.
No, you overthought it. It was actually correct.
I like how we're turning Oppenheimer into a verb.
We really have.
Yeah, I just Oppenheimered that. I love it.
Off the top of my head.
Okay, off the top of my head. Anyways, tip of the week is to be open to coaching. Be open to feedback.
Yeah.
Like you said, you were not interested in that beginner course. And if someone told me, Dan, you're going to go through a beginner course, or someone's going to give you a lesson on body position, I would have been like, I'm pretty good rider. But this has been incredibly helpful. I'm totally open to coaching. I am totally open to coaching. See what's there for us. We talked about this before when you've had multiple crashes. What's here for me? Does this mean if you had told me that me crashing on a trail in Pennsylvania a couple weeks ago was going to lead to someone in Arizona giving me body position advice that was going to make me more confident and help level me up.
Yeah.
I never would have believed you. What is here for me? We anyone that's listening that's a mountain biker has fallen, and why did that happen? Right? We just talked about Dan at Blue Mountain. We've talked about Shelly just having a couple of bad falls and her shoulder being banged up. Right? And it's always right afterwards. Why did this happen? What good could this have possibly been? Just be open. Something good is going to come out of all this. That's the attitude we want to take, and then watch it happen.
Yeah, who you are getting it from also makes a huge difference, right? And what I'll say about that is oftentimes I'll go to Phoenixville Bike Park and I'll run into a lot of kids there, and I like helping people. So, I'll see them and did you try this, and the dad will come up right behind me and he'll be like, dude, I've been saying that to him or her this whole time. And, I don't know why he's listening to you. Sometimes, having a fresh face.
Please put your shirt back on.
And yes,
inappropriate.
Yes. But my point is sometimes, who you're getting it from makes a huge difference. If you've been getting advice from your friends, it's not the same as getting it from as soon as I met Anson, and I was like, oh, this dude is a really good rider.
Your coach.
Yeah.
Your coach at your coach weekend. Yeah.
Yes. I looked at his Instagram and he's doing stuff that, I would never dream of doing right now, and so when he said something, it had weight. I was just like, oh crap, this guy's utilizing the stuff that he's telling me. So take this seriously. It's a beginner, but he's finding this useful. Then who am I to say that it's, I'm not better than Anson, that's for sure. So And like I said, I walked away from that and I was so grateful. I was so grateful for all of them. And we all, by the way, all of us, every single one of those coaches that took that class, the certification, we all left better riders.
That's amazing. So yeah, open to coaching. If you see a coach in your area, if a coach approaches you, or you notice it pop up on your social media, I'm open to it, and I would encourage everyone to be open to it. I think that there's room for improvement, and whatever level you're at, you can level up. And if that means more saddle time, more rubber side down, more fun, less crashes, I'm here for all of that. And some of that is off the bike stuff also, is your strength training and your flexibility, just being open to all of that. If you're in recovery, if you fell, like maybe it's a time to rest. It's a time to spend more with your family, like what is here for me? There's always things to appreciate. So but mountain bike coaching can make a really big difference. And just be open to receive. I
love it, Danny. Good mountain bike tip. Little role reversal there. I like that. Okay.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was Oppenheimering, and I just thought that it would just, I may as well just take the bull by the horns. Yeah. Did I just make Oppenheimer an adverb there when I added an ing? Oppenheimering?
Dude, I think you did. I mean, this is a very versatile term. Yes. Put it in the dictionary. Really, Ride Laugh dictionary. Yes.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's way too long to be for anyone to be writing this out.
Yeah. Maybe just Heimer.
Maybe we could shorten it.
Oppo.
Heiming?
Heiming?
Oppo.
That sounds terrible.
Oppo, yeah. Ride Laugh one at Gmail. We're gonna need help with this. Yeah. What was his first name? Any idea?
He was like Madonna. He just went with Oppenheimer. Like that's it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, if you're still listening, you are definitely one of us. You love mountain biking. We appreciate you. Don't forget to rate and subscribe on your favorite podcast player, and on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. Listen to the end. Auto downloads. Tell your friends. We appreciate everyone. Have a fantastic week and a great week of riding. Ride and laugh.
I'll see you, everyone.